great event going on today. The theme for the event is Unstoppable, organized by the ON-7 young and youth adults. So I'm excited today because they're gonna be dancing, they're gonna be singing, it's gonna be drama, it's gonna be some great discussions and questions, because I have a lot of questions to ask, and I know every young adult out there has a lot of questions to ask today. So, and there are guest speakers, we're about to answer those questions. So God bless you, and I'm gonna go around and interview some people and ask them to spell unstoppable. Are you unstoppable? I am unstoppable.
My name is Scholar.
Nice to meet you. So today is a wonderful event going on right now. So what are you guys expecting? What's going on? Are you guys excited? Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited. There's a lot of dance, drama, administration, food as well. That's very important. Yeah, I'm here to have fun and be blessed, really.
Okay, cool. So do you know the theme of this program?
Yeah, Unstoppable.
Unstoppable. Can you spell it?
UNSTOPPABLE.
Okay, awesome.
Is there a prize for that?
The prize is that you're learned.
All right, thank you.
All right,
my school fees is not with.
Yes, exactly. Hi. So what are your beautiful names?
My name is Pearl. My name is Shalom.
Nice to meet you. I'm Esther. So I'm gonna ask you some couple questions. What's going on today? Like, what's happening?
Today's the youth event, the zonal youth event.
Okay. So what's the theme?
I think it's unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
Yeah.
Can you spell that for us?
UNSTOPPABLE.
What? SPPPP. Can you guys try again? Come on.
UNSTOPPABLE.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
So in today's program, what are you looking forward to? There's dancing, there's singing, there's jollof, right?
Definitely.
And there's a lot of discussions and questioning going on. So what is the more stadium?
I'm looking forward to like dance and
Hey,
yeah,
awesome.
just have a nice time.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Same.
Hopefully we catch you dancing.
Devs.
Hi. What's your name? Wumi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
I'm
you.
Esther.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. So why are you here today?
I'm here for the program for the Unstoppable by God's grace,
Yes.
and we sure
Yes, we're here
hope,
for the program. It's the program's going down tonight. Come through.
and we sure hope that indeed everybody should have an encounter and definitely go out there and be unstoppable in the world. That's our plan for the program.
Okay, thank you. So in today's program we have drama, we have dance, we have food, jollof rice, you know what I mean? So what are you looking forward most to?
I would say everything because there's lesson to be learned in everything, from the singing to the drama to the discussion. At least to gain something from each segment.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nice meeting you.
Nice
And before you go, can you spell unstoppable?
Oh boy! UNSTOPPABLE.
Awesome.
Oh my God! That was
Hi. Okay, my brother, you're looking so great. Okay, awesome. So what's your name?
I'm Joshua.
Joshua, and you are?
Caleb.
You person too?
Caleb.
Caleb. Nice to meet you. So what's going on today? Like.
So today's youth event in our church, and it's called Unstoppable. So it's just a gathering of the Christian youth in RCCG,
Yeah.
just showing their talent and having fun in the presence of the Lord. That's just
Okay,
it.
all right. So today there are going to be a lot of events going on. There's dancing, there's singing, there's discussions, there's questioning time, and there is food, jollof rice, Nigerian jollof rice.
Amen.
All right. So what are you looking forward to most in today's event?
See, when there's the gathering of Nigerians, there's the gathering of food. That is what I look forward to. As a fellow Nigerian,
Yes.
in my experience of being a Nigerian, you always look forward to the food after the event. It's not to the event.
But we need to enjoy the presence of the Lord with our
Yes.
fellows here.
We'll round it up with the food.
I agree with that.
All right. Thank you so much. So can you guys spell unstoppable for me?
So, why are you pointing at me? I will try my best.
Okay.
UNSTO. Is it 1P or 2P's?
I can't spell this.
EPO. Stop it.
It's okay, please. UN
STOPP.
Okay.
ABLE.
Okay, awesome.
So I didn't go to school.
I
I didn't go to school.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Hello, sir. Oh my gosh, it's an honor to meet you right now. All right, so can you please kindly introduce yourself?
My name is Israel Obeche, and I pastor Redeemed Christian Church of God Throne of Grace.
Awesome. And he's a youth pastor. Woo! Okay, sir, so what are you looking forward to today?
I'm believing God for an exciting, impactful, and a wonderful time in God's presence today. And at the end of the day, life-transforming service.
Alright, so I want to just take this pressure. Thank you, sir, for organizing this awesome program.
Thank
and
you.
we're really all excited to work with you, sir. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Sir,
too.
it was nice meeting you
God
today.
bless you.
Have
It's
a
a
nice
pleasure.
day.
Thank
And
you.
please, look at him, so handsome.
Right now, I'm going to need a volunteer. If you don't volunteer yourself, I will volunteer you. It's a simple thing. Volunteer yourself or I call you. And if you don't answer me, can I please have you? Thank you for standing up. Thank you. Can we if you cannot come up here, you encourage people coming out. Thank you. Call me majestically. No, you don't do. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. She's going to start this game, and she's going to say, I am blessed for this. And it's going to go round. And the thing is, you can't mention what she has mentioned or what someone else has mentioned. So you really, if you need to be typing on your phone what people have said, they are blessed about, start typing. So I'm gonna start, you start, then you pass the mic, okay? And it has to be fast. This is where we know the what's it called? The people that, you know, that they are sharp plan. Okay. So I am blessed for the life God has given to me, or that is given to me. I'm blessed for my great health. Oh, yo, let's be fast. Okay. Speak louder so everybody can hear you. What is it? He's blessed with prosperity. What of you? And everybody needs to talk. No, no speaking. What are you blessed for? What has God done for you? This is you testifying to His greatness. Okay, Pastor Mike. You owe me something. Why are you guys so confused on this table? Huh? Okay. Don't cover the mic. Let the mic bring out your voice. Oh wow, you see? Blessed because she is made in His own image. Man, I didn't think about that. Oh. Can you see? Thank God for that. I'm blessed to be here. You're blessed to be here. You see? That's someone that is current affairs. God bless you. Blessed for wisdom. I'm blessed for having my family. Family is important. I'm blessed for my education. Oh, blessed. Someone said I'm blessed for my grade. Can you say something else? I give you that one. Next time I will not allow you. I'm blessed for my job. Good. Nice.
I'm blessed with your life.
Love life and prosperity. Good. For your job, we have time pastors too. Okay. I am blessed for His love. For His love. For Jesus' love. God loves us so much, and she's blessed for that. I am blessed with my life. Because you're alive. Okay, thank God for that. Good health. Yeah? They did not get the instruction. You cannot say what someone else has said. That's why you need to start thinking about your answer before you get to you. Everyone, thank you. We bless you. We bless you. God bless you. Are here too, sir. Thank you.
Bless for change.
Change. Love God. God loves you too much.
I go to school.
You're blessed for what? Your life. You see, the phone is too much. I couldn't hear it. Allah. Thank God.
I'm blessed with this country.
For this country. Canada is a very peaceful place. I know they've spoiled some people's answer. Sorry.
I'm blessed for my opportunities.
Thank God. Thank God. Thank you.
I'm blessed for Ontario Zone 7 young adults.
Thank you. Thank you so much. For the money in your bank, 30 billion.
More than.
More than
We are blessed with strength.
You're blessed with strength.
We're blessed because of provision, God's provision.
We are blessed. So you are talking on behalf of your congregation.
Yes.
God bless a lot of them.
I'm blessed because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made.
Thank God, thank God. But please, you will just help me to stand up and you will move from one place to another. Make sure it's not someone you know. I know the people that know each other. So I might not see you with someone you know. So hold your phone and you will ask people, you will tell them two things about yourself. One thing that is true and one thing that is false. And later you will know what we will do with that. So start thinking of what you will tell them that is true and what thing that is false. Yes, use your name. I said don't lie about your name. Make sure it's not only female you are moving around. Talk and make connections. You put on a very pretty and smiley face. Two people.
We give you thanks, come on, for all you have done in our life. We are so blessed to be. Our souls is found rest. Oh Lord, oh, we give you thanks, Lord. Eternal rock of ages will bless your name. The one who is and who was and is to come, we bow down for your lordship. Who are we that you've not made us? What have we become that you've not given unto us, O God? We thank you for the young adults of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Ontario Zone 7. Thank you because it has pleased you to bring us here together. Thank you for this zonal conference. Thank you for every segment of today's program. Thank you for those on the way coming. Thank you for granting them journey mercies. For those of us already here, Daddy, we are saying we are thankful. Father, Lord, as we continue, Daddy, continues also, God. We pray for every segment from praise and worship all the way to the benediction. Father, take absolute control in the name of Jesus. We declare this meeting open in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. For in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Turn to your neighbor, tell them, welcome, God bless you, welcome, God bless you. Hallelujah. Over to the next.
I didn't say praise queen, no. Praise the Lord! And you are sitting down. Praise Master Jesus! still sitting down. We will not leave here. Praise the Lord! Just remain standing like that because it's time for praise and worship, and it will be led by me. Because He lives, I can face tomorrow. Because He lives, all there is no But please enjoy. It's called Stand in the Light. I think the biggest lie I ever believed about being a child of God was that I wouldn't struggle. That my heart and my mind would sometimes not align to what I know, and I would sit in the pit of my flesh unchanged. Another lie that I believed was that I would be perfect. That my declaration of Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior would result in my needed sanctification. And as I move closer to the light, all I see are my imperfections lighting up inside of me. I look at my reflection and I loathe myself. I loathe that I'm not the light that you called me to be. I loathe that the righteousness of Christ was not complete in me. I loathe that I didn't look like the son who is my brother. They were lies, yet I believed them. Legion that they were. They were garnished to my meal. I fed on it until I no longer saw myself the way that you see me. Because I wasn't whole. Because I wasn't complete. Because your perfection shows the imperfections in me. As I walked closer and your light illuminated the things in me that I despise me. I despise the skin on my body. I despise my flesh. I wanted nothing to do with me. So if I wanted nothing to do with me, how could you want everything to do with me? How could you call me and tell me that you choose me over and over again? And why is it that as I look to the light and as I walk closer to the light, all I see within me are blemishes. My skin is not smoothened. No matter how much I prime and correct and blur, all I see are things inside of me, and so they cause me to walk away from the light. They caused me to turn my back from the light because the dirt in me was too much for me to behold, not the light to behold, but me. Because I believed in the lie that I should be perfect. That grace meant that I didn't struggle. But where is room for grace if there is no struggle? Where is room for grace if I don't stand in the light and let the light illuminate everything that is dark in me? Where is room for grace to move if before you I stand perfect? If I feel like coming to your presence, I have earned your presence, then do I need to come at all? But you called me, and you call me still. You have predestined my days, so you choose me even when I didn't see the specks in me. Even when I thought that standing before you, I was blemish-free. You choose me knowing that as I move closer to you, you would illuminate everything in me that was not you. You would stand as a refiner of gold, refining this gold until it's pure. And the loathing of my blemishes, my dirt, my dark spots are not untrue. They are real and good because they humble me, because they make me truly realize that in your presence I am made whole. But without you, I will continue to be broken, but with you, I am whole. In your presence, I am whole. In your presence, I am blemish-free, not because of anything that I have done, but because of everything that you have done. So you tell me, child, stand in the light. Behold my son, and stand in the light, and let the light illuminate every dark in you, and stand in the light. Because your righteousness is found in me. Your righteousness is not of yourself, and your righteousness, you shouldn't see blemishes. They shouldn't be blemish-free unless I am the righteousness in you. Stand in the light, and let the light illuminate all that which is dark. Stand in the light and let me cleanse you and make you whole. And gut out all the things that you didn't even know were there. Stand in the light and let the pressing and pruning, let it create a fine wine. Let it create a beautiful garden that will be whole. For not just you to see, but for me to marvel at the work that I have done in you. So child, stand in the light. Stand in my light and know that your righteousness does not come from you because you're righteous through me. So continue to stand in the light and walk in the light. Because although you may not see, although you may not know, I am making something beautiful out of your blemishes. I am making and bringing glorious ruins to life. Amen. Okay. Can you beat the table? Drum goes, drum goes, drum goes, drum. And what do you call it? No drum, everything. Just drum something. Drum. That's what the next person I want to play. It's okay. It's okay. That's for the next group of people. It's visionary drama team. Let's give them a round. Is that for me? Oh. Okay. Honestly, I don't understand you. You don't take me like to any mountain. You can't take my father to any mountain. First of all, I didn't say mountain. I said the prophetess and the master. And she told me that. I don't believe any prophetess. The word of God is unstoppable. If God did it for Lazarus, he can do it for our father. And I don't believe this prophet. Why are you acting like someone that didn't go to university? Is your brain not working? You've been shouting God. Show me Jesus' medical certificate. Did he go to med school? Let me take him to this prophetess. He will just. If God will not do it for daddy, I don't believe any prophetess. Jesus did it for Lazarus. He did it for blind Bartimaeus. The word of God is unstoppable. I don't trust any prophetess. Come. Lazarus since which year? Daddy has been in coma for 5 months. You see, if anything happens to my father, Tina, the way I will wound you, the way I will actually wound you, the way I will kill you. No how you talk to me. I'm not your mate. I'm not your sister. Hey, God, Father. God what? God, show yourself. I know you can do it again.
Hello, Jessica.
Harvey, what is I'm hearing about us losing our 30 million contract?
Oh, the 10 million contract. I mean, yeah, the guy was asking us to pay $10,000 for a price, and I'm like, no, there's no way, no, we're gonna do that.
What are you talking about? That's what we do all the time. What do you mean?
I mean, we're not gonna cut corners just to get a 30 million contract.
Oh, we're not? Because that's what we do. That's what I'm telling you. This is a big thing for our company. This is the next big thing for our firm.
Jessica, I believe we can make many more of that. I believe we can make much more.
You believe?
Yes, I believe.
Oh, now you want to talk about believe. I'm talking about my firm. Okay? This is what I know is the next best thing for my firm, and you're not going to mess it up.
Jessica, my faith is unstoppable. We can make 100 million.
Your faith is unstoppable, but your partnership is stoppable. Watch out for me, Harvey, because I'm going to really destroy your career if you mess up this deal.
Jessica.
Bye.
Jessica. Hello? Jessica.
Bola, where's the gas? Yes, are you okay? Is everything okay? Will you shut up and not ask me questions? Get over here.
If you were in your husband's house, would I call you a name like this?
What do you mean?
Bola, when will you bring a man into this house?
How many times do I have to tell you I'm waiting for the right person?
You're waiting.
I don't want to rush into anything.
When I was at your age, I finished giving birth to you and your 7 brothers. What are you waiting for?
I keep telling you over and over and over and over again, I don't want to rush.
Don't talk to me like that. I am still your mother. Anyway, what happened to was it Kule? What happened?
He was trying to push me into things I was not ready for. He wanted to have sex with me before marriage.
Then what happened?
What do you mean what happened? I can't believe you're even asking this right now. I left him. What did you want me to do?
You left him?
Yes, I left him.
Because a man wants to become a man. Where did I go wrong?
Don't let anyone hear you say this. We're supposed to be Christians. How can you tell me to follow what God wants me to do and then go against everything He says?
What are you saying exactly?
I'm saying that my obedience to God is unstoppable.
Okay. When your obedience becomes a man and takes you out of this house,
I don't understand how you
just have my grandchildren before I die.
There's so many
You just don't want to do this, girl. I will deal with it in my house.
today, Martin. It's not, I don't know, it's not reasonable. What do you think?
What goes to the mom thing in this generation? Like, seriously?
I'm depressed about it. We need to pray and praise God. I know He can do something different.
We need to. You need to see what Jessica did to me today. She wanted me to pay someone a $10,000 bribe just to make $1 million. I'm like, come on, we're not going to do that.
You guys won't believe what my mom is trying to get me to do. She's trying to get me to sleep with a man I haven't even married yet.
What? That woman again.
Listen, it's actually time for us to go and pray. Let's go. my father, our father has woken up. 5 months coma. Mama Bola, 5 months coma. He just woke up and said, Trisha, are you there? I'm there, sir. Can you imagine? I'm a staff been praying.
You know what? Because of this, my praise is unstoppable.
Hey!
Oh, my sister, this is
Let me tell you, my faith is not unstoppable because I wasn't saying to the prophetess. But just like that, he woke up my sister. Tina, hey!
Let's just thank God because the Lord is unstoppable. His word is unstoppable.
He's unstoppable.
His name is unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
So now we're going to be getting into the nitty-gritty of the events. This is more of like the interactive session where we have a lot of you guys kind of like get involved with what we're going to be discussing about, and we're going to be inviting the panelists to speak at the moment. And we're going to do a little bit differently. We have 3 speakers. However, we're going to have them come up one by one, so each speaker has the chance to pretty much focus, so you can focus on them and kind of like pick their brains and pretty much get to the bottom of whatever questions you have. And for starters, the first speaker we have is going to speak about, to you guys about investments and business planning and things of that nature. He is someone that I've known since forever. He's a brother, to be honest. He went from being someone I knew to a brother to now he's pretty much my mentor, one of my mentors. He's also like an uncle now. So he's the president and CEO of Dreammaker Realty. He's made such a fantastic name for himself. If I was to list his resume, I would literally be here forever. So I don't want to do that into this time. Believe me when I say that you guys are in for a treat. He is so experienced in the realm of investments. Trust me, you want to listen, and most importantly, you might want to take notes. So I'm going to welcome to the stage, the floor, Mr. Isaac Ololafe.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. What's the theme? What's the theme? So who here feels unstoppable? I'll just give a little bit of a background on myself, and then we can do a Q&A, and then I'll finish off. So a little bit of a story over myself and what God has done in my life over the last 15 years, and how God has sort of made my movement unstoppable in an industry where you wouldn't see a lot of us Christians and young black individuals thriving in that industry. So about 15 years ago, God sort of gave me the vision to launch my first business. I was going into my second year of university at U of T, and that's when I launched Dreammaker Realty. At that time, Dreammaker Realty was just an investment company. I was using it to buy and sell property. I just got my real estate license. I was still at U of T doing my economics degree. And a funny story is that when I got into U of T, and this is a lesson for everyone here, when I got into U of T, I got in there to take computer science. At the time, my parents really wanted me to either become a doctor or do some type of science, whether computer science or programming. Computers wasn't my passion. I got it and I almost flunked out of my first year. And then it was at a period of time where I started to question what I was going to do. And I asked God to really sort of show me where I wanted to be. I knew real estate was something that I wanted to do, hopefully by the time I was in my 30s, buy my first property, and then maybe in my 40s, get into development, but God knew better. So around 2021, while working the midnight shift at UPS, so why was I working at UPS? So I was fortunate that my parents, through laying the foundation of generational wealth, started to save for us right from when we were probably 10, 12 years old, so that when we get into university, we didn't have to worry about OSAP. So I didn't have to worry about OSAP, so finance wasn't an issue while going to school. So I took advantage of that. I still stayed at home for free, ate for free, I didn't have to worry about books. But I knew during the day I had to worry about studies. So during midnight to 4 or 5 a.m. every day for 4 years, I worked at UPS. for two main reasons. One, because they had a tuition reimbursement. Why was that important? Does anybody know? Because my tuition was already paid, so that tuition reimbursement became reimbursement for me to reinvest in my dream. But I had to sacrifice something. I was sacrificing my sleep. So you can imagine, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, there was a lot of parties that were happening during those evenings. And while everyone was going to party, I told everyone I have to take a nap from 9 o'clock to about 11 o'clock, get up, wash up, and then go to UPS, throw boxes in the cold or in the very hot weather for 5 hours, go home, sleep for a couple hours, and get to the University of Toronto, Mississauga, 30-minute ride from Woodbridge, for 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Stay there for about 10 to about 5 o'clock, go to the library and start studying for my real estate courses, get back home for 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, take a nap again, and then get back to UPS. So it was a very strict schedule that I had, but the reason why is because I wanted to be unstoppable in what God was about to put me on the path on, and I wanted to make sure that I sacrificed while I was young, while I had less responsibilities, so that once I start to get older, things would get easier. So long story short, bought my first property when I was 21, and then I launched a business, and at that time there was a lot of challenges. You know, a young black business owner trying to convince individuals to buy real estate. They were asking me questions, what do I know? How could I help them? And I was talking to my parents' friends, I was talking to my friends' parents, and a lot of them would look at me thinking I was crazy, thinking I should be in school, and most of them were thinking that what does somebody that's younger than my child know about finance? So I took that as encouragement, and I went back to study, and make sure that I become not only an expert in it, but dedicated in the craft and the gift that God has given me. Any gift that you have, you're not going to flourish in it unless you be a slave to that gift and bring that gift onto the world. So what I started to do was just educate individuals on why it was important to buy and the principle behind it. For me, wasn't so I could make money to buy Mercedes or buy a watch or on vacation, was because I wanted it as a tool to start building a foundation for generational wealth. Because studying all the different communities around the GTA, I realized within our community, generational wealth was something that wasn't flourishing within our community. And I saw that in other communities, real estate and land development was used as a format to create generational wealth. Meaning you could have went to school, you could be a doctor, you could be a teacher, you could be a lawyer, you could be all these great professions, but when I studied it, I saw that created of the product was how generational wealth was created. So over the last 14 years, we went from Dreammaker Realty, just a real estate company, to now a brokerage firm with 25 licensed agents. Then I launched a management company where we manage over 300 properties. Then I launched a wealth management company where we manage individuals' capital. And then 4 years ago, we launched a development company. And 2 years ago, we finished our first condo across the board. Wow.
He is so well knowledgeable about these kind of areas. Now what we're going to do is we're going to stretch we're going to have you guys pretty much ask and have the opportunity to ask someone with so much vast array of knowledge, not such as himself, some questions about business, investments, financing, things of that nature. I really encourage you not to be shy, all right? It's going to get awkward if you guys are just standing there looking at them. So this is your chance, literally anything with that topic or with that subject matter. Like for instance, I'll start just so you know, get the ball rolling in case anyone here is shy. You had said something along the lines that, you know, you were blessed to have your parents save for you. So in the event of, let's say, not all of us have that privilege. Some of us may have migrated from Nigeria as students and then have our work permits and are working on our citizenship right now and maybe are renting in the meantime. How would you, do you have any advice or any suggestions on how you go about that to still be able to make it in this realm of investments while still having so much expenses to cover and worry about?
Great question. It's basically understanding to live within your means and understanding that investments is not a race, it's a marathon. So if you're living within your means, regardless whether you're making $40,000, $100,000, $1 million a year, if you're spending more than what you're making, you're always going to be behind and in the rat race. So whether you're at school right now and you can only do a part-time job, well, that part-time job starts saving your money and try and sacrifice to try and get 2 part-time jobs. You know, it's going to be hard while you're in school doing multiple jobs. Again, it's going to take a lot of time. You're going to lose a lot of sleep. You're probably not going to have a lot of time to be on Instagram and Facebook and other social media, but you're laying the foundation for your future. So regardless of how much you're making, don't think about, I need to be making X amount to be able to do this. It's all about your lifestyle and what's important to you.
Thank you very much. Now, does you have questions? Look, you're about to raise your hand. I'm sorry, questions over there. Good? No? Good? Good? Thank you so much. Round of applause for everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, and what actually triggered you to, because you said you're in computer science, so what was that trigger? What gave you that motivation to go against everything your friends have been saying, like do science and whatever? What was that trigger?
Well, my parents, yes, they wanted me to get into science, but they instilled the whole aspect of investing and entrepreneurship and the environment that we moved into almost 20 years ago, Woodbridge. A lot of people in that community were invested and in real estate. My dad also was in real estate, so it wasn't far off from what my environment was. And that's another sort of nugget to take out of this environment. Make sure that you're positioning yourself in an environment that's going to allow you to grow. Whether it be at the church, whether it be with your friends, and whether it be other associations that you're part of, because your environment will lay the foundation of where you're going to be in the future.
Oh, wow, looks like I have a question over there. Perfect.
Right from this side. Yeah, you're on the
We've been told a lot of times that real estate is capital intensive. So what would be the best advice for a student that's paying a lot of bills?
So the first advice is just find a way to get into the market. If that means collaborating with some friends and family and buying your first property. And I'll give you an example. When I bought my first property at 21, the property was $127,000 across the Malvern Town Center. At that time, they allowed 0 down. My interest rate was 6.7%. I had to add money into the property, and a lot of people thought I was crazy. They're like, why are you buying a property all the way across the Malvern Town Center and you're adding money into the property? But I knew that this allowed me to get into the marketplace. And at that time, I took a 40-year amortization. So people thought you're 20, it's going to take you until you're 60. But I tried to explain to them that the rate at that time was 6.7, and I was adding $300 a month or $3,600 a year. $3,600 a year into an investment became a tax deduction on whatever $12 an hour I was making at UPS. So as UPS was taking away deductions for taxes, every year I was getting a credit back because I had an investment. And then also, as the interest rates started to fall to about 2-3%, I kept the payments going. So instead of a property taking 4 years to be paid off, it ended up taking 16 years to be paid off. But it all happened because I started.
I know she asked, that was a fantastic question, but for those who might not know, I definitely know what it means, for sure. What is capital incentive mean, or that word?
So basically, right now, obviously the market has changed drastically from when I first started. Now you need a larger down payment. The amortizations aren't as long. So typically, you can still get away with buying a first property with about 5 to 10%. What we do encourage a lot of individuals that are just started, which helped me a lot, is pre-construction development. So when I first got started, I bought my first 2-3 properties that I could afford at that time, 127, 150. Where I got my big jump was when I bought pre-construction properties, and it allowed me to save until I was about to get a mortgage. So I would put supplements of deposits over a period of time. So if I bought a property at that time, let's say for $200,000, and I needed $20,000 down over 1 year, what that meant is I need to work extra hours to make them. But at least there was a goal. So it's hard to go towards a goal or a dream if you don't have a plan. So I had a plan, and I said if I work extra hours and I generate that $20,000, I can put it on this property, and then I have 2 years before I actually need a mortgage. So for those that are new to the country or don't have a credit fully established yet, that's a way to get into the market, lock in on a price today while saving and building for tomorrow.
Thank you so much. I think we have a question over here.
So I have 2 questions. The first one is for a student who is rounding up the finance major and looking to get into the investment world, and what kind of firms would you advise that student to look at?
Great question. So finance has definitely changed over the last 5 to 10 years. Technology is becoming very important. So as much as we're heavy on real estate, we also run a private equity company, and we start to invest in a lot of tech companies. So the companies now we've been looking at is fintech companies. So technology companies that are focused specifically on finance, technology companies that are focused on insurance, blockchain. Some of you may know about blockchain and Bitcoin and Ethereum. So if you want to get into finance, don't look at finance from the way it was done 5, 10, 15 years ago. Look at finance from the way it's going to be done in the future. That's why you see all the major banks now, TD, RBC, they're launching their own venture fund to invest in new technology companies so that they're prepared for when things move mostly to technology. So there's not any specific company, but I'll look for companies as technology advances as well.
Thank you. So my second question is, how important is a master's degree for someone who gets into university?
So education is always important. Right? One of my goals and dreams is eventually to maybe go to Harvard and do an executive program there. I've always wanted to do my MBA, but since I got into the business, I didn't have a chance to take a break and go back to school. But education is always important. Do your master's, but just be more selective and be more attentive while you're in school. Even if you're in undergrad, college, university, or your master's, understand that those 2 years, 3 years, 4 years are key important times in your life where you can build a lot of good relationships with key individuals and also start laying your foundation for the future. So yeah, so if you have the opportunity to do your master's, I think you should still do it, but just make sure that while you're there, you're learning, but you're also building relationships, because those are future business partners, those are individuals that you may be able to collaborate with in the future as well.
We do have a question over here.
What is the difference between stock broker and real estate? And also, is real estate like the most productive, like the next big thing that we all have to come through, like all was like forget about it. Now technology is like property, so it's like is that what we have to do like right now too? What involved?
So for me, why I like real estate, because it's something that most people could get into, right? So we all know, if you're in the oil business, you could create wealth, but it's harder for anybody just off the street to just get into the oil business. In the stock market, you could do well in the stock market, but then there's a lot of general information that you need to know within the stock market. But real estate is really, where you lose in real estate is if you're buying today to quickly sell tomorrow, or sell right away, or you're buying a property that's too big. Like for me, when I bought my first home, meaning I got married, and then I moved out of my parents' house, and I bought my first home. Even when I bought it, I made sure it was a home that could turn into an investment, and wasn't something that was too big just to say I live in a big house, right? Which wasn't a good investment. So a lot of people always get caught up with trying to live in a big home, which is not a good investment, and sacrifice in a good investment that could be leveraged into a larger home that serves as investments as well. And really for Toronto or Ontario, where we live in, over the next 10 years, Toronto is going to be turning into a very expensive city. It's already an expensive city. It's going to get worse, not because real estate prices just goes up, but because of the fundamentals that indirectly affect real estate. And what are the fundamentals? Immigration, healthcare, education, technology, private sector investment, public sector investments, infrastructure investments around the city. When you see those type of fundamental factors within a city, that's when you're going to see growth indirectly into real estate. As a result of that, you want to invest in it and try and hold it as long as possible. And now the city is turning into more of a rental city because most people can't even buy a home. So that's another factor of why you want to own real estate, because more people are coming into the city and rent rates are dropping, which would mean vacancy rates are dropping, which would mean rent rates are going to increase, which is more value for somebody that owns a property that wants to rent it out.
Thank you so much for that. Unfortunately, those are all the questions I can take. I do have one last question to ask, and I'll round it up and give you quick closing remarks. I understand that you're also you're really into philanthropy and also into in the act of giving, not just from like, I guess, a spiritual standpoint, but just in general, give to the community and things of that nature. Why do you feel like it's very important to always imbibe that culture, that habit of giving, and do you always have to wait till you have it before you give, and why?
Great question. Right from when I was a kid, giving was implanted in me. Went to church every Sunday with my parents, paid my tithes, whether I was making $100 a week or $1,000 a week, 10% is still 10%, and that's what I was given to the church. But giving is not only just a financial aspect, it's also a physical aspect when you're giving your time and you're just doing charity work. So the aspect of giving, we're all here at a church function, is something that we should all take as something that's important, regardless of the age that you are. You know, it was said in the Bible that the kingdom principle is not just the act of good servants work while you're in church, but while you're in the world, right? So for me, everything that I do, I see it as a form of preaching, as a form of service, and a form of converting those that may not believe in God into believing in God just by the works that I do. So when they come to me and they meet me at my office and say, wow, how is this possible? I say, it wasn't by my works, it's by the grace of God. It's by the favor that I was able to get. So take that as something of importance in every area that you're in, whether you're in school or you're at work, that kingdom principle is important regardless of where you are. And giving back is very important. It's something that as a community, the more we're able to give back, the more we're able to trust each other, collaborate with each other, and grow together.
Thank you. Do you have any programs or tools in your company that you can use to help young people who are just starting out and want to invest in this?
So what we do is, like, we do a lot of mentorship programs. Like, my schedule's got a lot harder for me to have a lot of one-on-ones, but like in terms of communication with different individuals, depending on what dreams and aspirations they're trying to achieve, they email it to me or they send me a text and we collaborate with them, and then we also introduce them to agents within our company. And we have a young company. Our average ages is between the age of 25 to 35, and they've been in the marketplace in real estate for about 10 plus years. So we're able to sort of educate individuals on laying a roadmap on how to buy your first property. When you want to buy a property, what type of property should you buy? Is now the best time to buy? Should you buy a house or should you buy a condo? Should you buy pre-construction, or should you buy resale? Should you buy a 2-bedroom, or should you buy 1+10? What areas should you buy in? What factors will drive one area than another? So these are all very important things that when you're buying property, is very important. Whoever you're buying it with has that knowledge as well too. But the most important thing is just not just reading about real estate, but reading about the community that you may want to be able to invest in. Like for me, when we did the project at Yorkdale, again, the market wasn't the best at that time, 4.5 years ago, but we looked at the indirect factors that would make that area a potentially good area in the future, which was the subway expansion that was going into York University, which was a $1 billion announcement of renovating Yorkdale Mall, which was the first digital hospital at 418 Keogh, right? So those indirect factors made you realize that staying in this location and building this location will give you future growth. So as you start to invest, look at the areas that you want to invest in, research that area, and then work with an expert and an investor that happens to have a real estate license so they can guide you as well too.
Thank you. Final question.
Thank you very much for coming today. I've spoken to some few persons, and they've always said this thing called housing bubble, and that's what we're currently experiencing in Canada, and that will soon pause. And because of that, real estate might not be viable investments at least in the foreseeable future. So I don't know, are those myths, like, what's the truth behind that? Like, is it true that for now we should stay away from real estate investment because of the costs that's pending? Thank you.
It's a great question, and I've been getting that same question for the last 14 years as to in terms of the housing bubble, and that's why I started off by saying I don't buy in real estate to speculate that prices are going to go up. I buy into real estate because it's an essential product that people need, and I try to buy in locations where people want to stay, and I try to buy in a city where they're bringing in a lot of people. So those indirect factors will allow me to continue to win in real estate, and not everyone to win in real estate, even at the same time, in the same city, at the same product, because they can be buying it at a different price point. So about 5 years ago, when we realized the market was getting saturated and people were entering the market, we decided to pivot, which is another sort of session that I talk about, knowing when to pivot, whether you're in school or whether in your workplace. And pivoting is not just when you're falling, but the best time to pivot is actually when you're doing well, because that's when you have a clearer mind. So for us, we were doing well just as a brokerage firm selling real estate, and then we decided to pivot to become a developer to build real estate, because we realized that the only way we could continue to grow as a company, we need access to product in the right location. So that's when we pivoted to becoming a developer, but not just a developer to build and develop any type of product, $3 million detached homes. That's not a good investment. We decided to look for specific locations where there was growth potential, whether it be Yorkdale, Pickering, Ajax, Richmond Hill, Mississauga, Port Fayette area, Kleinburg. We were in specific locations where subway expansions were happening, highway expansions were happening, new hospitals were coming in. So those indirect factors will always create a need for real estate, not just to buy, but to rent. And then we look at the factors on rental. So the fact that the vacancy rates are dropping to less than 1%, that means more and more people are going to need a place to stay. But then we realize that rental, as prices are going up, may not be the best thing as well, because if you're buying something for $500,000 and you're only going to rent it out for $2,000 when your mortgage, maintenance, and taxes is $2,500, then you're negative $500. So then what we started to do is look at how we could do short-term rentals. So we bought a building, 5-minute walk to the airport, and converted it into a hotel, which will be under a brand, Dream Suites, which are launching end of the year. And now we're only looking for units that we convert to furnish and do furnished rental and short-term rental. So now we've taken a product that will only rent out for $2,000 into a product that will do $150 a night, 20 nights, $3,000, and now we just untap more investments on that product.
Thank you so much for taking the question. Let's appreciate it. Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause.
Just thank him. Just give him praise. Thank him for giving the opportunity to fast. For those that are fasting, and if you're not fasting, you can partake in today's prayer. Just thank him. Just give him praise. Say, God, I worship your name for giving me the privilege to fast, to wait upon you, oh God. Father, Lord, we give you all the praise tonight, oh God. Thank you, oh God, for those that are participating, oh God, in this worldwide RCCG fast. We give you all the praise for giving us, oh God, the grace to partake in it, oh God. Father, Lord, we give you all the praise and worship, oh God, in the name of Jesus. Why don't you take one prayer point also? Let's pray for the young adults. Let's say that God will going to use us to populate his kingdom in this nation of Canada in the name of Jesus. That we're going to be battle axes in God's hands in the name of Jesus. Let's pray that God will going to use us to populate his kingdom in the name of Jesus. That God will raise end time army of the young adults in the name of Jesus. That every young adult of the various parishes of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Canada Mission, that God will going to use us to manifest his glory in the name of Jesus. Father, Lord, we give you all the praise. For in Jesus' name we pray. Father, we sanctify the food in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit in the name of Jesus. Thank you for providing for us, oh God, as we eat, oh God. Father, we pray, God, let it nourish our spirit, our body, and our soul in the name of Jesus. Thank you, Father, for in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Have fun. God bless you.